friends, and welcome to my episode on making a front lacing kirtle. This garment is suitable for the 1400s, and you'll see that I based my design off of some images from about the 1460s to 1480s. One thing I just want to say right off the bat is thank you so much for 250 subscribers. I'm going to be doing a 250 subscribers special episode, and I'll be posting an opportunity to ask some questions for a Q&A on my Instagram, or you could also comment them in the comments, and I will be answering those questions and trying to make myself a crown to go over my veil. I've wanted a crown, but I can't really do like metal working and that kind of thing, just with like what I have at home. So I thought to myself, I'll make it out of clay. So we're gonna see if I can use air dried clay in my 250 subscribers special episode to make a crown and paint it gold, and I think that'll be a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll get to answer any questions anyone might have, if you have any. And if you like this video and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button and the notification bell so you don't miss future episodes. Someone wants to come in. Yes! Say thank you. Thank you for watching the videos. Good boy. I had originally wanted to be completely done with all of my videos for like early Anglo-Saxon and Viking Age before I posted this video, but then I had some significant delays with the wallpaper I was using to make my set for those last few videos, so I decided to post this one anyway, and then I'll get back to those. I actually started making this dress way back last year and pretty much finished it over the holidays, except for the Fingerloop Braid, which I actually finished a couple weeks ago, and there's a video on that, and also attaching the braids to the Aglets, which I'll link down below in the description. I really love this time period. I think that the silhouette is particularly flattering for me, just with my, I guess, body type. It really works for me. I don't really need a lot of supportive garments because I'm like what I like to call, I guess, aerodynamic is what I would refer to myself as. Like very much. So this is a very suitable garment type for me and for patterning, because I don't have to actually add a lot of, you know, curvature in the front or anything like that. So this was all based off of rectangular construction, except for the sleeves, which is my first time doing the S sleeve instead of a just rectangle with a square gore or a triangular gore. So that was fun to get to work on the mock-up for that and figure that out, and I totally love these little buttons. I also have a video on making the buttons, which I'll also link down below. And this dress also gives me like serious Merida vibes, so I might do like a fun Merida style video when I go back to New Hampshire, because my bow and arrow is there, not here, unfortunately. It's kind of hard to bring those on the plane. So that'll probably happen in like December, because I'm not going home until then. But in the meantime, let's start constructing this dress. So here's my pattern. I traced it out on this grid that is measured to my fabric to make sure everything would fit. Then I made a mock-up of the sleeves just to test it out and make sure it was correct. I had started making this dress before and I made it too small. It didn't fit over my hips, so it is now mock-up fabric. Someone wants to help, of course. And after I decided that the sleeve worked out, I traced out all my pattern pieces and cut them out. Ta-da! I pinned together the shoulder seams and the gores and got to work on the first stage of sewing. This is just a regular stitch, and I left a little extra so I could fell the seams down later. This fabric actually doesn't fray much, so it wasn't a problem anyway. And the sleeve was pinned and ready to be sewn. I'm going to sew the whole thing, and then I'm going to seam rip up to where I want the buttons, and I already sewed the gore. I was testing out how it was all going to look, and then I cut out the neckline pretty early because I knew how I wanted it to look. These are some examples that I used to base my designs off of. And I fixed it a little bit more later as well. Then I cut up the middle to insert the front gore and make place for the lacing to go, because it was a front lacing kirtle. I tried this on many times. I'm pinning the side here to see how much it needs to be taken in. This is a lot easier if you have someone else to help you, because as you'll see later, I had to add fabric back in because I actually took too much out. And I owe that to the fact that I couldn't hold the front closed as well as pinning the sides at the same time. Then I also marked where I needed the gore for my back to be, kind of where my back bends, and I just measured out, making sure that the mark was equal on both sides to the center, and then I cut up the back to that mark. And after that, I pinned in my back gore, and I got to work sewing in my last gore. There's always so many hours of pinning footage, which I don't include all of. Now I'm looking like one of those medieval manuscript pictures where I'm trying to put on my kirtle, and it is very difficult. But already I am liking the shape of this a lot, and I think it looks really good already. But I did notice that the front didn't completely close, and I saved finishing the top of that back gore until the end. So yeah, I had to add more fabric back in because right under my armpit is a lot wider than my waist, and I had taken it in way too much. So I sewed a false seam so that the insert would match the seam line of the gores, because the gores were two pieces that were joined in the middle. I've seen that this was actually done quite frequently in order to create symmetry, so I was excited to do that myself. So I put it in, and it kind of matches and isn't too noticeable because it's pretty close to under my armpit, so you won't see it too badly. And I reserved some extra fabric just in case, but it ended up turning out really well. And then I trimmed up the hem, and I don't trim it on my mannequin because her shape is a little different than mine, so it doesn't really matter either way. And then I trimmed up the train, and I admired how it looked in my very, very, very messy room. I kind of give up on cleaning up for filming because otherwise I'll never film anything. Then I was trying on the sleeves as well and kind of getting a glimpse at how the final look will be. Then I decided I liked the train, so I matched the other side to the first side that I had cut. And of course I always hand sew the tops of my gores just to make sure that the placement is right. And I added extra fabric as facing where the buttonholes, buttons, and eyelets will be. That way it's a little stronger and I don't have to worry about it pulling because I didn't line this, and I'm going to be lining my gold kirtle, but because I live where it's really hot, I don't line everything. Now I am going to hand sew the facings in on the front and on the sleeves. I'm just using a simple back stitch here to make sure it's secure and doesn't pull out when, you know, the buttons or the eyelets are taking tension. Now I am just turning over the facings and pinning them down, and to finish those off, I'll just whip stitch them into place, and that'll be secure. I'm also pinning in the sleeves here. I ended up gathering them, and then it seemed to create too much of a cap sleeve, and it didn't look right, and also it seemed to throw off the placement of the neckline, and I didn't like the way it looked. It didn't look like any of the pictures that I was working off of. So I ended up taking that part out and resetting the sleeves again so that it was a completely smooth attachment instead of gathered. And just doing some easy whip stitches while I watch TV, and almost finished with this. From the start, it probably took like 3 months to completely finish it just with all my other projects. Then I added in a facing for the neckline as well. This helped it to give stability, as I thought that a rolled hem wouldn't give quite the structure I was looking for. My little dangly facings are hanging about because I didn't want to trim them until I was sure exactly how long they were going to be. And then I turned them over and set them. I also fixed the sleeve, and I kind of pulled it over, I guess. I'm not sure how to explain what I did exactly, but I just made it more rounded. Then I was going on a trip to England, so I ended up having to sew a bunch of this on the plane because I wanted to take pictures there. So I'm sewing a sort of like sleeve lining just into the front of my sleeves in linen because wool makes me a little itchy, and I didn't want that to touch my hands and then make them itchy. So I just did that, and then I marked off where the buttons and the buttonholes would go on each side, and finished my neckline facing with a whip stitch, and I did a rolled hem on the bottom of the skirt. Then I marked off where to put my eyelets, and I didn't bring my awl, so I had to use a knitting needle, and this was a lot more difficult, and I ended up having to continue to use this to make the hole stay open when I was sewing the eyelets. Now I have all my cute little buttons attached. I do have a video on making buttons if you want to watch that. And they are just so adorable. I love their look, and they're very quick to make. I didn't find it too time consuming to make all of the buttons that I needed. And it was kind of just an enjoyable process to do and relax and watch TV. And then I just attached all of my buttons to the dress, and I had a lot of fun watching English Christmas programming while I was finishing up this dress and getting to spend time with my husband's family there. So here I'm just using the leftover string from creating the buttons to actually attach it to the dress, and I just sort of go back and forth, and this happens quite a bit where I get stuck on the other button, but I just go up and down and just attach the basically little fabric points of the button that are all around to the sleeve and just secure it up. Now I am sewing my eyelets. This is a fairly easy process, aside from being kind of time consuming, but I just sort of do basic stitches all around in a circle, and I kept having to reopen the hole because it wouldn't stay open. So it's just kind of doing stitches that wrap around the opening and make it stay open. I'm not even sure what this stitch is called, but here they are. And here are my finished buttonholes as well. And now, time for the reveal. Thank you all for watching. I absolutely love this dress. I hope you liked it too, and I look forward to seeing you in my next videos. We're going to be having a lot of fun doing some videos on a set I've built over the next few episodes, and also coming up soon, maybe the next video, is my closet organization part 2, which the first episode was posted like 8 months ago, and thanks to ADHD, it became way disorganized, and then now it's becoming organized again. So we're looking forward to that. It seems like a lot of people like that video, so I will be posting that update soon. I'm almost done cleaning it all up and getting everything ready. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.